first and foremost, in the school of prophecy, know who your Creator is. Not believe. Believe is what we did. Believe is what we've learned about. Now, it's knowledge of God. And knowledge of God is a world of difference than believing in God. Because you can believe that someone is a good friend, but you don't know until that friendship is put up to the test. You can believe that your spouse loves you until that love is put up to the test. You can believe that the deal is going to work out until that deadline arrives and you see whether it does or it doesn't. People live off of belief. They need belief. They need emunah in things. They need to have certain types of faith in certain things in order to function in the world. In order to connect to Hashem, you also need to have belief. You need to believe that Hashem is watching everything that you're doing. But at the same token, you also need to know God. And knowledge of God is something that does not change according to the circumstances. Once you know the sky is blue, even if someone tells you otherwise, your knowledge and belief will not change. Once you know certain things, nothing in the world can change them. So the Chazon Ish is trying to begin this important section of prophecy by elevating us and making sure that we understand what we're dealing with is. Now, yes, we would all like to be prophets, and we'd all like to hear, theoretically speaking, the voice of God speaking to us directly. But first, the Chazon Ish says, first, understand what you're dealing with here. The truth that constitutes the secrets of the world's existence is that Hashem's presence fills the entire world. And from the reality of Hashem's being stems the very existence of the world. In so many words, En od milvado, there is nothing else but Him. What does En od milvado means? The Gemara in Masechet Chagiga, I believe it's page 12. A. It talks about what was there before Hashem created the world. We know that, and the same Gemara tells us, that before Hashem created the world, 974 generations before He created the world, He wrote the Torah with black fire on white fire, which is symbolized by the way that the Sefer Torah is written until this day, 3,334 years after we received it. In that Torah is everything that ever happened and everything that ever will happen, both on a grand scale and on an individual scale, including this shiur that we have right now, including the conversation that you're going to have with your spouse, including your experience at work tomorrow. Whether you know how to find it or not is a different question, but the point is everything that's ever happened and will happen is inside that Torah. Now, the sages ask, what happened before that? We're not allowed to ask too many questions about what happened before, but we do have information that Hashem gave us at Mount Sinai. And the sages explain that before there was anything, there was just Hashem. There was just Hashem. There was no air, there was no planets, there was nothing else. There's just Hashem. And He had to, figuratively speaking, minimize Himself in order to make space for the creation. Whatever that means. Since He has no body or the likeness of a body, we're simply using the language of the Torah that we're permitted to use. He had to minimize himself in order to create space for the creation. And it all started with a single point that he expanded the planet, expanded the universe until he roared for it to stop. He roared, die. That's why he is called Kel Shaddai, the God that said enough. Now, of course, the heretics and the atheists that follow them took this teachings from the Gemara and started a whole new religion from it, called atheism and evolution and all types of other things that, in essence, try to remove God from the creation. But the reality is that nothing in the world could ever remove God from the creation, because nothing can exist without the Creator himself. Whether you believe in him or you don't believe in him doesn't change his circumstance, doesn't change the reality. His existence does not depend on our belief. Now, here the Chazon Ish is telling us that even now, after, in essence, he made this room for the creation, he's still not just in control of it, not just overseeing it, but he is still it. He fills the entire world, where every single thing that happens in every single moment, both above the heavens and below the heavens, is only done with his will, with his knowledge, with his agreement. A raindrop will not fall and hit a specific leaf next to your house without him authorizing that raindrop to do so. A cat that's 3 miles from your house is not going to meow unless a Kadosh Baruch Hu allows that to happen. A life will not come to being or end without a Kadosh Baruch Hu allowing it to happen. The creation itself requires the Creator to give it life at all times. So much so that the En Od Milvado, that there's nothing else but him, has not changed. There literally is nothing else but him. We are all nothing, but rather something that he wills to exist.